There you have it. Song is officially S-rank hunter. The cat's out of the bag. Everybody knows about it. It's officially broadcast the entire world. There's no hiding it anymore. Everybody knows about it. But additionally, looks like Baek is sniffing the greater details of the whole situation. He's totally picking up on what's going on with Song. He's like, I don't think he's a second awakening. This guy's getting more powerful. The first time I met him, I was stronger than him. And now he's stronger than me. This dude's leveling up. Like he knows exactly what's going on there. But yeah, really fantastic episode 19 of Solo Leveling. A lot of extra bits in the manhwa that I found extremely fascinating, especially Yo's father. There's some greater details that unfortunately it looks like the anime is completely like skipping. Now again, I do recognize that the anime, I believe, is building off of the web novel, so this might be extra stuff in the manhwa, but I found this stuff super interesting. It technically matches up with what's going on here, that his father's not about money. He's not doing this for money. He's doing it for security. He's doing it for his family. And I thought that stuff was super fascinating, but we'll get into that as we go into it. We're going to go through the episode as usual from the very beginning, going through everything. But yes, let's open things up with Sung's and his meeting with Yo. Unfortunately, in the anime, they kind of just gloss over it and go immediately to what Yo tells his father. But yes, in that meeting between the two of them, he obviously asks Sung, hey, can you join my guild? Everything went well with my father, but in order for me to take over the guild, I need you to join. And additionally, he also tells Sung, like, don't feel pressure, but I'll give you full power. I'll give you full decision-making power. He's not trying to get Sung to join him and be restricted. He's actually getting him to join and saying, hey, just do whatever you want to do with it, but I need you to join it. So whatever you need, I'll give it to you. And of course, we find out later that, yes, it's not necessarily that Sung can join. He's still kind of set to the idea that this is something I have to do. I have something that I need to take care of. I can't join your guild. I need full freedom and all that kind of stuff. But additionally, yes, he does offer Yo to join his guild, that he's going to make his own guild and he wants him to follow him. He doesn't want to leave Yo behind because Yo has helped him out with a lot of things. He wants him to join his. Which, yes, Yo takes that, goes to his father, tells him, sorry, I failed to convince him. But additionally that, yes, he asked me to follow him and I want to follow him. I'm going to join his guild instead. He's going to make me his vice captain or whatever. I'm going to join his guild instead. And yes, it does give a sense in the anime right here. His father's not happy with this. We find out later on, especially in the manhwa, that it's more of a factor that his father wanted Yo to lead the guild. Yeah, like, if you're going to take charge in this, I want you to lead it. I don't want you to follow somebody. He tells Yo's mother later on, like, yeah, I was hoping that he would be a leader. Instead, he's chosen to follow somebody instead. So it's not really the fact that he's angry at him, but there is sort of a little bit of a disappointment there in wanting his son to actually take charge and lead the guild instead. And we get a deeper meaning in the manhwa behind this, in the idea that right here, yes, he's like, you gave a big speech, you said that you wanted to lead this guild, I was going to give it to you. Like, I was already had my plan set, you came to me with this grand speech, and I chose to give it to you. Do you think that's really fair? But it goes further in the manhwa, where the father asks Yo, why do you think I'm doing this? Why do you think I'm making a guild of hunters? It's a construction company. Like, he leads a construction company. Why would you think I'm doing this? And Yo's like, yeah, obviously for money, right? No, that's not it. This goes much deeper than this. The father goes into explaining that, yes, right now, as we see that many people are awakening to hunters, many are awakening with incredible power. You have people that literally have the strength that exceeds even S rank, who essentially can take on entire nations' armies. Like, these people can walk into a nation and take out their entire combined army. This is a change in the world itself and the structures of the world itself. He's basically pointing out that we're coming to an age where we can't expect our companies to be protected by the laws of the land. We need powerful people at our side. He's acknowledging that the world itself is changing. And this is something that's obviously highlighted with characters like Hwang. Hwang is somebody who is allowed to do whatever he wants. Why? Because he's an S-rank hunter and he's incredibly powerful. This guy can level a city and nobody would do anything about it because he's so powerful. Yes, you do enough and they're going to eventually send a bunch of S ranks to try to take you out. These other nations are probably going to get together and go, hey, we need to stop this guy. But the point is that there's literally nations that essentially see one S rank hunter as sort of their leader. They can take over a nation as its lead because they're so powerful. And so what his father wants is security for his family's future. He's like, I have plenty of money to last me a lifetime and more. I want to secure the future of this family. I want to make a guild and then recruit in very powerful hunters that I can trust and rely on. And I want you to do that as well. And he sees that Yoo has found somebody that he's willing to follow and that he trusts, which is Sung. So my son has already established this. He has somebody very powerful he can trust. His father knows about Sung. Again, previously, when Yoo met with him, they literally brought the guy in that survived from the Red Gate. He came in there and explained everything that happened. He knows what Sung can do. And so he's going, okay, my son has established bonds with a very powerful hunter. He's doing exactly what I want us to do with his guild. So at that point, he tells Yoo, don't worry about it. Take the guild. Lead the guild. Like, he literally was going to give Yoo the guild right there. Like, without that decision that he was able to get Sung to join. But still, Yoo declines him. In the end, despite the fact that he has been established, Yoo, you can take the guild now, Yoo says no. I already told Sung I would join his guild. I'm going to follow him. And so that kind of gives you a deeper perspective of exactly what happened with that whole meeting with his father. He literally was handed the keys, and Yoo said no. And that's why afterwards he goes to Sung's house. He's going there because he has no place to stay. He literally said no to his father, and he left everything behind. He literally left his father's riches. He has no place to stay. He says the apartment that I was staying at is owned by my father, and so I had to leave there too. So he's going to Sung because he has nowhere to stay. In the manhwa, Sung sees him at the door and literally shuts the door on him. But yeah, again, I love this. I love this stuff that unfortunately, the anime didn't want to get into details. It might touch on it a little bit later on, but this definitely shows that the father is after something besides money. He's after the future of his family. He's going to pass away soon. I mean, it even gets to the fact that he gets this illness. He's not going to be in commission very long. He's going to be out of it. So he wants to secure the future of his family. And again, it does touch once again on the fact that, yes, this world is acknowledging, especially these corporate leaders, are acknowledging that here soon the nations won't be run by governments. The nations will be run by very powerful individuals that are awakening. And more every day, more powerful people are awakening. The world is being overcome by hunters. And yes, it gets more into it with the fact that he eventually, when he's confronted by his wife later on, he's like, yeah, he left. You know, he's getting old enough that he needs to leave the house. Again, he's a little disappointed in the fact that Yoo is not going to lead his guild. He's going to follow Sung instead, which kind of upsets him. But that's when he ends up, overcome by this illness, which, yes, is the same illness that Sung's mother is dealing with, the eternal slumber, which they're actually right here getting into more details exactly what that is. This is a thing that apparently when they're around people with high mana, especially hunters, they're overcome with this. Now, it is, yes, a little weird. They might actually hopefully explain it more later on, or maybe the web novel explains it better. But they're essentially saying that when you have a low resistance to magic in this world, and you're around people with high magic, which is going to be hunters, you get overcome with eternal slumber. So it's saying that basically high mana exposure makes you go into an eternal slumber. And how are they helping people with this? They're attaching them to a device that gives them mana. Okay, what? Maybe it's powered by mana, but it draws the mana out or something like that, like a reverse effect there or something like that. But it's like, then why would you plug them into mana? Why would you plug them into a magic crystal thingy? Anyways, but it's kind of, again, another one of those signs of the world itself is changing and how this father's getting completely smacked around by it. Again, back here, he's acknowledging that the future of my family and their business and whatnot is around the idea of where they're protected by laws and they earn money through their construction. And over here, he's realizing that here soon the structures of the world may change and that the laws might not protect their family anymore and their company. So he needs to make a guild that he can be protected by people he trusts. And then right here, the world itself is rejecting him. The world itself, he's now, because he doesn't have resistances to the changing world, he's now being rejected by the world and he soon will die. It's, again, it gets deeper and deeper in this element of how this world is sort of rejecting him and the world itself is changing and he fears for the future of his family. It's pretty cool. Again, I think the manhwa gets a lot more deeper into what's going on with his father and what he's trying to do for Yoo. And it's cool that he at least lets Yoo know this, because I think this is something that will be instilled upon Yoo in the future. It gives a lot more complexity to this family. I love this stuff. I love this stuff. Anyways, yes, going back to Sung. The rest of the show, I just deep dive in that whole thing. We just missed everything else. But yes, the reassignment. Going back to the reassignment. Sung going there. They have some stupid star there that's wanting to become assigned Yes, like I mentioned last episode, impressions, technically he's already been assigned at this point. He's A rank. This is all just a big show. Now, it is weird because the anime almost makes it out like they weren't supposed to be there, but they actually were. They just weren't supposed to be there yet. Sung had a schedule to come there at some point, and then like 30 minutes later, that's when he was supposed to do this movie star. And so they came there early to make a big show out of it, ended up getting in the way of Sung getting in there, so Go has to step out and bring him inside. But now a little bit extra insight into who this actor is. Lee Min-sung, again, is an actor who was already assigned before. They came there in order to make a big spectacle out of it. The whole point here is that, yes, as they kind of point out, there is a scandal behind him. He does have some sort of rumors that are surrounding him. But additionally, he's also got this issue where he's got mandatory military service that he's trying to avoid. And so the whole point here is that he's going to be signing a 2-year contract with the Fiend Guild. Now, they give a little excerpt in the manhwa about the Fiend Guild. The Fiend Guild used to be the _1 guild of South Korea. But at some point, this is kind of interesting, the White Tiger Guild actually split off from them and rose in power. So it kind of points out the fact that this used to be the top dog, but then the White Tiger Guild, who used to be a part of them, broke out from them and rose up above them, which is very interesting. I'll be curious if eventually they'll get into more about what happened there. Was it a difference in choice, what they wanted to do? But either way. So the idea here is that Lee will end up joining the Fiend Guild for 2 years, and he's going to get paid millions of dollars. He's going to promote the Fiend Guild so that see if they can kind of grow more. But additionally, yes, he's going to avoid and hopefully sweep all the controversy under the rug as he's doing hunting stuff, which he's probably not going to do much there. But either way, very, very kind of interesting there. But yes, Sung shows up and steals the spotlight. I love the fact that once Sung goes inside, of course, Wo kind of steps up in front of the Lee, and Lee's like, you know who I am, right? My father spends a lot of money on the association. If you get in my way and cause problems, I'm going to make sure that my dad knows. And Woo's like, if I tell you anything that's going on inside there, it's going to cause problems for you. Do you want that? So that kind of scares him away. It's dorky. But yeah, Sung goes in there, does his reevaluation, just shows off his summoning, which was kind of interesting because, yeah, they ask him what his abilities are, and it's summoning. That's technically his special job that he's gotten. So he shows off his summoning. I was told you could do better than that. Yeah, I could summon 100 of these things. And yes, right there, it's where Bake gets the idea of, oh, wait, he's actually stronger than me now. Before, I was stronger than him, and now he's stronger than me. This dude's getting more powerful. Something's going on here. But no, it's a good point that he never showed off his physical capabilities. Yeah, yes, later on, Big does acknowledge that he's physically really strong, and Choi does as well. But right here in the reassessment, they're just seeing that he's a summoner. And that's why when they go to broadcast everything, they're only pointing out the fact that he is an S-rank caster. So I think that's probably going to come up later on. Technically, when they were broadcasting and there was a big report, yes, Hwang did see it. So I think that's probably going to come up later on, this idea that everybody just thinks that he's a mage. And so they're going to probably not know that he has physical capability as well. Again, except for Bake and Choi. But yes, he finally gets S rank. He's able to finally leave with an S rank commission. I like the fact that he gets his S rank card, and the only thing that he cares about is how he can sell the sphere. It's like, yay, I got my S rank, and I can finally do this. Like, it's not to have access to gates or anything like that. Nope. I wanted to sell this stupid sphere for so long, even though he does it in the end, which is dumb. But no, he walks out there and it's broadcast to everyone. The sister sees it. We seen Johei. Johei's seen it. I was like, oh wow, Johei still exists. Song seen it. That was cool as well. Seeing Song still okay. And yes, even the S rank smeller, the S rank sniffer seen it as well. Everybody knows now. But yeah, he goes to leave. Bake. It was cool that Bake was trying to help him out. You know, you're going to be exhausted if you have to talk to all these people. We'll get you out of here. Like, nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm out here. And then, yes, Sung goes off to the auction place. Which, yes, in the manhwa, he does try to sell the orb. The guys that appraise it see that it, of course, amplifies by 100%. They note that, like, crafters can only amplify by, like, about 50%. And so he's immediately like, Choi's probably gonna spend a pretty penny for this thing. Hey, the guy at the auction place thinking the same thing I am. Give that thing to Choi, which we find out that he ends up giving it to Tusk instead. But it was funny to kind of see this guy think of the same thing I'm thinking. Choi would probably love that thing. But yeah, he goes and looks at equipment. I thought it was kind of dumb. They did the whole stupid When I was watching the show and they got to the point where like, yes, it's very expensive, but if you could break this glass, you could have it. Oh, please don't do that. It was just a joke. Thank you. It was just a stupid joke. I'm like, okay, there's free gear right there. He's going to break through the glass. But now this is when Sung finally realized that he can buy stuff in his shop and sell it for a lot of money, which I'm not sure why he didn't try beforehand. I guess because he technically only recently discovered that he can transfer items or give items away. So it would be funny if like it's like proximity based, and so he buys the stuff from the shop and then he sells it to the auction place and then he goes to leave the place and it just disappears. Because I did have a thought. It would be interesting if he were to essentially ask about something and they hand it to him and then he were to store it. But I guess they would figure it out. I guess they would be able to figure it out. I mean, technically at some point when they were in the Red Gate, somebody mentioned that he has a storage thing, which is like rare or something like that. So I think they've sort of acknowledged that that is a concept of storing things. So I think he'd probably get in trouble. I think they would figure it out. But yes, then we cut over to the house where we, yes, find out there's a lot of people outside the house. A lot of reporters are coming to his house to bug him. In the manhwa, they have a little bit where there's people like looking up at his window and his sister's literally like, you know, panicking because they're all taking pictures at her and she's just not liking it. And he's like, they're still here. Do you want me to go tell them off? And she's like, no, please don't, brother. Don't go out there. You're only going to cause more problems. You already got enough hate comments coming to you. He's like, wait, hate comments? Why do I have hate comments coming to me? She's like, because you snubbed the reporters. I'm like, it's so true. They basically, because he didn't want to talk to the reporters, they're probably all blasting him on their reports because he didn't confine to their reporting. But she's like, no, don't talk to them. I don't care about the reporters outside. You don't need to care about him either. And then suddenly the door knocks and she starts panicking, showing that she's obviously bothered by the reporters. But now this was the interesting part because, again, yes, technically Yo gets there. He's like, you know, hey, boss, what's going on? I need a place to stay. And then that's when Sung shuts the door on him and doesn't let him stay there. But no, it cuts to night, and Sung right here is obviously, you know, having to leave here soon, and he's deciding to set up something to protect his sister. He kind of puts in the idea there's going to be people that are going to be bugging his sister while he's gone, because he's going to be gone for a week. He just got broadcast to the entire world. People are going to be coming there to bother them. And so he wants to have something there to protect his sister. Now, yes, like I mentioned earlier, during the whole reporting thing, when he first walked out of that building, it broadcast to everybody and it cut to a bunch of different people, including Hwang. That was the point which Hwang finally found out that, yes, Sung is still alive. And so obviously he's going to want to go after Sung again. So what my assumption here is they're flagging to hell, especially the fact that when he decides to summon up his minions, who does he summon up? He summons up all of Tusk's guard, which unfortunately, yes, one of them was stuck in the ceiling when he did his summoning. So only 3 of them actually got erased. I would have checked that, honestly. Like, it's the 4 general dudes. Why would you not make sure that you got them? Again, he was technically distracted by a bunch of people that walked up. But he points out specifically one of them would be able to take on an A rank. But of course, yes, the struggle here, the concern here is that we just got done seeing Hwang actually seeing that broadcast. Sung is going to be gone for an entire week. And he wants something to protect his sister, and even has people out patrolling. He's got shadows out patrolling. It all kind of flags that, yeah, while he's gone, Hwang's showing up. And this was a concern that I had for the longest time, that he's going to be so focused on what he's doing that eventually his sister's going to get dragged into it. I knew from the moment the series first began that his sister's going to get caught up in something. Or his mother. Or it could be that his father finally shows up to check in on them, and they deem his father as a threat. That could be as well, because the father kind of disappeared. I'm really kind of curious what's going on with the dad. Like, the dad showed up at some point, beats the crap out of Hwang, and then just nothing ever since then. Now, yes, technically he was in a different country. It might take him a while to get home, but still. But yeah, in the manhwa, he kind of points out the fact that, yeah, he's kind of setting out the security to guard the area, you know, checking out the area. He's like, this is my service to the society or whatever. He even points out the fact that, yes, they could run into a murderer or something like that and probably take him out. Like, legit, they're not just kind of scoping out the area. They're also taking out criminals. He's got like a whole army of shadows that are crime busting. But yeah, he goes off the dungeon, starts working there, gets a new quest to defeat the demon monarch. points out that he gets a rune stone, which again he can shatter in order to get a job ability, which right now he has 3 of them. He's got the shadow extraction to pull out shadows, shadow preservation to keep them, and then the monarch's domain, which is the one that kind of buffs them up. It does note later on that he has the ability to extract up to 820 shadows at this point. And he can preserve 155 of them. So he's up there. And he also notes the fact that he's able to level up his shadows, which I don't think they've acknowledged up until this point. He's actually able to level them up. It's not just whatever they extract at, they're actually leveling up right here. Like as he's sending out his teams to kind of, check out the 80th floor, they're actually running around and leveling up at the same time. Like they level up like 10 times that point. Yes, he ends up giving Tusk the orb and freaking nukes an area. And the manhwa is like this entire area is infested with stuff, infested with demons, and he just nukes it all. Unfortunately, with the anime, they only do one thing. But yeah, he divides them up and then sends them out, and then eventually they start getting taken out. It's very interesting to note the fact that they're so smart that they were avoiding Tusk's group, which again, they kind of note that before, that Tusk is like an elite knight. So he's actually ranked higher than Ingress. So they were actually avoiding him and just taking all the other groups out until eventually he goes over and takes him out. And yes, kind of hints once again that it seems like he's getting a little crazy. I don't really know if they're going to go that route with this story. I don't necessarily want it to, because I haven't really seen them handling a descent into madness concept very well with his character. I was kind of hoping that the story overall would avoid it. Now, again, it could end up doing something good with it. I have no doubt there. But there is a side of me that almost feels like every time they've sort of hinted at his reaction to killing, his reaction to taking life with such a surface level that I don't know that it would actually handle it well. But I don't know. It could surprise me. They technically have been building up, at least from the opposite end, that these are intelligent beings. They're just being controlled by some sort of system. And so it could technically do something good here with the idea of, yeah, right here, these demons are intelligent, they're avoiding certain targets, and then Sung confronts them, and they're racked with fear. There is a sense here that they themselves aren't just mindless beings that are slashing at things, but they can actually be afraid. It could do something interesting with it, in the idea of him eventually acknowledging, I'm wiping out people of a different world. They're still people, they're just from another world, not just magical beasts. But we'll see. But yeah, the last thing we had was, of course, the guys walking around the shoreline, eventually walking upon the winged ant thing. Yes, so we've finally, the ant has arrived. The ant has arrived. Now, it is a secluded island, so it's not at the mainland yet, but still, it's come. It's here. An extra tidbit, the guys that actually found it are currently walking around that secluded island trying to look for gates. Gives a little bit of extra lore to the idea that, yes, they technically do send people out on a regular basis to check remote islands, any other island, to see if there are gates there. Because they say that within 3 days, the gate can collapse and monsters can come out of it. So they actually send people to all these islands, remote islands, check everywhere to look for gates. So very interesting. But yeah, that's episode 19. Again, a lot of stuff to go through, a lot of stuff to talk about. Really cool stuff again around, especially Yoo's father. I think that stuff is super fascinating. I love that deeper lore into the characters. But as per usual, hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below, comment, let me know about the episode. Again, if you are a fan of the source material, don't need answers in the comments down below. Like I said before, I read the manhwa alongside the anime, so I don't need answer to any of this stuff. It's just fun, speculation. But if you like this content, you want to support more, I have links in the description below. Greatly appreciate it. Until next time, y'all take care.